having me aboard, Captain.
Whatever. Your check cleared. That's all that matters.
Oh, good. So, this is a real, live squid ship.
Aye, but this ain't no pleasure cruise, Mr. Brown. Why are you so eager to ship out on a hard-working research vessel?
Well, Captain, the truth is, I feel like I owe a debt to Squid. See, I work on this cooking show, and a long time ago, we did an episode about squid.
I've heard of people eating squid. Where I'm from, they call that bait.
Well, everything's bait to something. Anyway, I got so caught up in doing these cutesy little skits that I hardly did any cooking. I didn't even make the world's most popular restaurant appetizer.
Ah, spicy wings. I love them.
I'm talking about calamari.
Isn't that a Hindu god?
No, I don't. Actually, now that you mention it, I think it might be. It's not important. What is that squid is probably the most culinarily versatile critter on the entire planet. I mean to do it justice.
Whatever. Be dark soon. Best get to your quarters, Mr. Brown, and start cooking up some.
Wow, spacious. You know, squid have always been big favorites in the international market, but until recently, I would bet that most Americans would side with our captain. Mayday, mayday. Oh, well. Luckily, back in the 90s, calamari crashed our shore, converting many a squid phobic into squid fans. I have to wonder, what's the best time of day to catch a calamari anyway?
Well, nighttime, of course.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You know, when the moon is full, some species congregate at the surface at night, and that makes them easy prey for fishermen. Oh. You must be a new cook, Mr. Brown, is it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you must be the squid doctor. Just tell me something. Will an artificial moon work?
In a sense, the 19th century Chinese immigrants used to use the paper lanterns when they were fishing for squid in Monterey Bay.
You don't say.
Yeah. Nowadays, we don't use paper lanterns. We use big banks of massive lights.
Oh, that's absolutely fascinating.
Squid are pretty cool creatures. Well, it's good to have you aboard.
Oh, thanks.
See you later.
Get to work. I'll get to work. Lanterns. Come on, Squiddy, Squiddy. That's it. Come to the light. Jump into the pretty net. Come on.
What are you doing?
Catching dinner. What are you doing?
Watching you mess up my research.
She seems kind of uptight, doesn't she?
I'll not have you antagonizing my client, Mr. Brown, and I'll thank you to stay in the galley until further notice.
Fine. So I'm locked up in another kitchen for another show. Oh, might as well find out what they got to eat around here. Let's see. Well, would you look at this? The cabinet of Dr. Calamari. Behold. Loligo opalescens, a.k.a. Pacific Market Squid. This is the squid you will most often get when you get squid in Western states. Now, here we have the common Eastern varieties, the Atlantic longfin and shortfin, which pretty much taste exactly the same, although I have been told that the shortfin are considered by some to be a little bit more on the chewy side. Now, I like to buy squid whole whenever I can, but only when I know that I'm going to cook them within hours. Even on ice or in a cold refrigerator, high-protein squid will decompose quicker than Mozart with an electric eraser. That is why cleaned, cut, frozen squid are the standard of the restaurant industry here in the United States. And that's okay by me because squid freezes and in some cases even refreezes fabulously. But if you are committed to working with fresh, you're going to want to buy the freshest you can get. So use your nose. Odds are, if they smell stinky with any traces of ammonia, you will want to pass. I'm told that color can also be an indicator of freshness. You want the skin to be slimy, not dry, and the color should be dark and mottled, never pink. You know, I've heard that these little guys can actually change color in their lives. How? How should I know?
Chromatophores.
Chromatophores?
Yeah. Hold it right there. I'll be right back.
Did you make this yourself?
Yeah, what do you think?
I think it's sweet. Super sweet. What is it?
It's a model of squid skin.
Oh! What are the balloons?
The balloons represent chromatophores. They're color-containing cells, and when they expand, the color disperses over a wider area.
Oh.
What? Try it.
Like that. So now we've got an orange squid.
Yeah, but try the blue.
Okay. You've been listening to Miles Davis. I got it. So that would combine to make a whole new color.
Right. And the yellow?
Sweet. So why would a squid want to do this?
It has a whole variety of uses. They can use them in camouflage, but they can also use them in finding a mate.
Yeah? Squid bling. That's cool. What color would a squid should dig?
Flashing colors.
Flashing. Red or blue?
Reddish.
Reddish. Cool. Well, does the color affect the flavor?
No, the skin itself doesn't seem to have any taste to it, but it can be kind of chewy.
Which is why we take it off. Thanks for the tip. Take your model and get back to work. Let us examine today's dinner. Let's see, here we have the tube, the fins, the head in the middle. Kind of odd, but that's the way it is. There are the two eyes, and then, of course, the tentacles here. Now, our first cut is going to be to separate the tentacles from the head. So just kind of feel around. There'll be a little lump where the beak is, and cut. Now, if you just squeeze the tentacle, out will pop air, the beak. Now, believe it or not, this is the only part of the squid that is not digestible. And in fact, the first evidence that scientists had of giant squids were finding beaks the size of human heads inside the stomachs of sperm whales. That's really cool. Okay, next. Just move your fingers up into the tube, get hold of the head, and gently pull. And just pull straight out. There. Now, there's one more part to remove. Reach in, and you'll feel something that's kind of plasticky. Pull that out, and there you have the quill. Believe it or not, that is the closest thing that a squid has to a bone. Kind of reminds me of sheet gelatin, only I don't think you can make dessert out of it. Now, usually the skin is removed, and for that I just kind of get a little incision going, and then you can just pull it off quite easily. And there you have it. Now, some people like to pull off the fins. I usually leave them on, but it's not that hard. Po-pat, po-pat. Anyway, to turn this into calamari, all you have to do is cut this into narrow rings with either scissors or a sharp knife. Of course, for calamari, we'll need a cooking medium. A crucial key to calamari cooking is heat control. It all begins with a heavy Dutch oven in the 4 to 5 quart range. Why a Dutch oven? Because it's cast iron and it will hold heat. We're going to put that over medium heat and then add 2 quarts of peanut oil, which I like for its high smoke point and neutral flavor. We're going to bring this up to 375 degrees. How will we know? Because we're going to use one of these. Just slide that on. There. Back to the squid. As for fabrication, we will take each of the tentacle sections and slice those in half so that they do not overwhelm the palate. As for the tubes, knock those down into 1/3 to 1/2 inch slices thusly. If you want to knock a little fishiness off your squid, just give it a quick bath in cold water. Just make sure that you dry it thoroughly before you attempt to coat and cook. As far as getting rid of this old water, well, let's see. Batter and breading sticks better to dried squid, so you might as well go ahead and use the spinner the way it was intended. There we go, bone dry and ready for batter. Many's a batch of calamari that's sunk like a rock under a dumpling-like load of breading. Whether you prefer the batter coating or the simple dredge, the goal is the same, lightness. Now, for those who want just a wee crunch, we'll take the dry approach. We have the dredge containing 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour and 1/2 cup of plain cornmeal. Not grits, not cornbread mix, okay? Now just whisk together and that's pretty much it. For those who prefer a little more calamari coverage, we will assemble a batter thusly. We have here 1 cup of ice water. We'll get that ice out. Into that goes 1 cup of all-purpose flour and whisk to combine. Don't worry, there are going to be a couple little lumps, no big deal. Then we're going with 1 egg. There, now this is essentially a tempura batter, only without the rice flour. Now using ice water will keep the batter light by delaying the gelatinization of starch in the flour, and that will keep the batter from absorbing too much oil. Since you want this light and thin, do not mix the batter until you are ready to do your cooking. This is not the kind of thing you can make ahead. And now we fry. We will begin with the dry dredge version. The only other piece of equipment we must have, one of these. We'll begin with a very small handful of squid. You don't want to overload the pan. A bit of dredge action. Fish that out with the spider, and you want to get as much of the dredge off as possible so we don't foul the oil. There we go. We are at 375, so in we go. Notice I'm doing this by hand, piece at a time, not just dumping it in there. If you just dump it, it'll turn into a crispy golf ball. There. Now, as far as time goes, we're talking probably 45 seconds to a minute tops. That is, if you were monitoring your heat correctly. We're not looking for a deep brown, just a light golden. Anything darker than that will overwhelm the flavor of the calamari. Time to evacuate. We scoop and move over to our clever draining device, which of course is nothing but a cooling rack turned upside down on a piece of newspaper on a half sheet pan. A little seasoning while the squid is still hot. Some salt and a little black pepper. Now, you may consume that while you are letting your oil come back up to heat, because you do not want to put in the next batch if the oil is not at 375. Now, I like to keep the squid as dry as possible, so I set that on a towel inside a bowl before evacuating the squid in small batches to the batter. Just kind of punch it down with my spider there and into the oil. Again, one piece at a time, or you'll end up with a big old golf ball of squid. Not that that would be a bad thing. 1 minute later, and the squid is ready to come out. You'll need either a second spider or a slotted spoon to get that out. Remember, the other one's got batter all over it. A little salt and pepper, and you're ready to serve.
Mighty tasty bait you made there, Mr. Brown.
Well, I'm glad you like it. Can I come out now?
Nope. Keep cooking.
Keep cooking. Aye, aye, Captain Queeg. Man made off with my appetizer. Hey, how about a nice squid salad? Now, let's see. If only we had about 1.5 pounds of assorted squid parts. Feels about right. But this time, instead of cutting the tubes into rings, we will split them down the middle first and then cut crosswise, creating 1/2 inch to 1 inch long strips. To cook your squid, bring 1/2 inch of water to a boil and just spread the squid out on a collapsible steamer basket like that. Set it inside, drop the heat to low just to maintain a simmer. Cover and cook until the squid is done but tender. We're talking anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes, not more than 4, okay? Our time is up and our squid are perfect. But they will not stay like that for long. Even if you remove them from this heat, they will continue to cook, potentially to a rubber-like state. So we will evacuate these to a nice, icy bath. Deposit into your favorite large mixing bowl 2 tablespoons each fresh squeezed lemon juice and olive oil, 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and 1/4 teaspoon of toasted ground cumin, 3/4 teaspoon of salt. I think that's about right. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. 1/4 cup of chopped cilantro, 2 tablespoons of capers, drained, 1/4 cup of finely chopped red onions, and 3/4 cup of seeded chopped tomatoes. Let's just dump in the squid and use the old shake method, followed by the old manual thing. There. Now, cover this and refrigerate for at least an hour before serving.
That's good eating. Sure you don't want some, Doc?
No thanks, I study them, I don't eat them.
I don't know, but I intend to find out.
Hey, Cap, steady as she goes, if you please. Some of us are trying to cook down here. Hey, remember how I said that squid should be cooked quickly, lest it attains kind of an inner tube-like texture? Well, there's actually more to the story. If they're cooked long enough, those tough fibers will eventually break down and tenderness will return. Now, obviously, that's not going to do us any good in a deep fryer, but in a relatively cool, moist environment, such as a braise, it can be very powerful magic indeed. And since we're going to take advantage of one of the peculiar particularities of squid, why not take advantage of another one and do a little bit of stuffing? And as far as stuffing goes, why not use some shrimp and what the heck, more squid. Come on. Whoa, hey. So we have our 10 sets of squid tentacles. Would that be a clutch or a pride of tentacles? It doesn't matter. Goes into the food processor along with the 2 ounces of raw shrimp meat. Now we're just going to process this just for a few seconds. We're not looking to create a smooth mousse here, more like a kind of a lumpy paste. There. Have a look. Yep, that's what we're looking for right there. This will go into the refrigerator. Meanwhile, place a saute pan over medium heat and add a tablespoon of olive oil and a 1/4 cup of finely chopped onions. You want to follow that with a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, and about a minute later, a clove of minced garlic. And let that cook 1 to 2 minutes, but don't let it brown.
Now, where's that beastie gone and gotten to?
Turn your freshly sweated aromatics out into your mixing bowl and add a 1/4 cup of dried breadcrumbs. Now, this is for texture, and the breadcrumbs will also kind of soak up all the flavorful liquids that will be generated during the cooking process. To that, we add 2 teaspoons each fresh chopped ginger and grated lemon zest. On top of that, 2 tablespoons of finely chopped tomato and a teaspoon of chopped parsley. Now we'll give that a little toss. There. Now, time for the paste. Just dump that right out. There. Now you're going to have to kind of mash that around to get it to combine properly. Ooh, almost forgot the pepper. 1/4 teaspoon black pepper. There you go. Well, obviously, we're going to need a little bit of help getting this thick goo into those tiny little holes on the squid tubes. And we could use a fancy schmancy pastry bag or piping bag, but I don't see any reason to do that when we have plastic zip-top bags laying around. I like to use freezer bags for this because they tend to be a little more on the sturdy side. So just grab a knife and cut off 1 corner. Then open up the bag and fill. There you go. Squeeze out as much of the air as possible, and we are ready to pipe. Now we need our tubes. Whale song? Huh. Anyway, when looking for a squid to stuff, you don't want to get the tubes too large. They have a tendency to split open during cooking if you do. So go with 3 to 5 inches long, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 of them here, and that is perfect for 1 batch. Now, there are a lot of recipes out there for stuffed squid that call for all kinds of elaborate devices to keep the little boogers closed during the cooking process. Toothpicks, skewers, little pieces of string, you name it. None of these are necessary because the squid itself wants to help us. You see, when the meat cooks, it tends to curl, but it just usually curls outward. By taking something like the end of a chopstick or a spoon and turning the tube inside out, we can basically make it a self-sealing container. Now, as for the piping, just lay the tube across your hand like this, poke open the hole, insert nozzle, and squeeze, but don't squeeze too much. You're going to be tempted to fill this thing to the brim. If you do, the stuffing is going to expand when it cooks and rip open the side of the squid. That's not good. So about half full, pinch it off thusly. Lay it over so the seam is on the bottom, and repeat until you are done.
Mr. Brown, have you
seen the captain?
I haven't seen anyone because I never get to leave the galley. Man, has that woman got a temper or what? Now, once you've got your stuffed tubes laid out in the baking pan, time for a little sauce. There are a lot of options, but I would say that tomato sauce would be the best. Homemade, of course, superior, but around here, the canned will have to do. 2 cups, please. And that should be just enough to fill this pan, and you want to be careful to evenly coat each one of your little squiddies. Now, cover with aluminum foil and prepare to bake. At 375 degrees for 30 minutes. Middle of the oven will be just fine. Dinner's ready, come and get it. Why is everybody on this boat? You know, I realize that squid often play starring roles in our deepest, darkest, most slithery nightmares, but here in this galley, squid is a mighty good friend of mine. After all, it's flavorful, it's versatile, it's healthy, and scientists say that the ocean is jam-packed full of the little critters, so feel free to consume with guiltless gusto. I'm Alton Brown, and I'm good eats. Get out of my food, you freak. Cut.